A percent means 1 part per 100. So 1/100th. A symbol for that is 1%. So if you have 1%, we're just writing percent, that means 1/100th. For example, 100% means 100/100th, and that's just 1. And then we can also talk about permille. And that's part per thousandth. And that we can write as 1 permille, or just this. And then in this case we have 1,000 permille is 1,000 thousandths. So this is just 1. So in itself, percent and permille are very simple concepts. The percent is just stands for 1/100th, and this is a symbol for that. In similar fashion, permille is just 1,000, and this is a symbol for that. So the difficulty lies not in the concept itself, but the difficulty lies in how it's used, and the semantics, how to interpret problems expressed in terms of percent. So we will mostly look at examples here using percent. So for example, if I have a square and I divide that up into 4 equal pieces, then I color one of these. Then how many percent of the whole thing does this constitute? Yeah, we could of course, let's say that the length of this one is 2, and the length of this one is 3. Of course we can see it directly, this is just 1/4 by symmetry reasons. But let's just do it in another way. So for example, how large part of the whole thing is this black colored part? Yeah, it's a rectangle with width or height 1 and width 1.5. So it has an area of 3/2. And the whole thing, how large area is that? It's a height of 2 and the width of 3. So it has an area of 6. And how large part does this constitute of the whole thing? So you take 3/2, the area of this black section, divided by the whole thing, area of 6. And what is that? That's just this. And here we can simplify. So this is just 1/4. And 1/4 is 0.25. And 0.25, that's 25/100ths. This is just 25/100ths. But that means that it's 25%. So you see that this part here constitutes 25% of the whole thing. So we could calculate it in this way, for example. Or just see it directly, it's 1/4, and 1/4 is 25%. Or for example, if you set money into a bank, and let's say that you put in $100, and after 1 month, your new value of the account is $105. So what is the percentual increase? How many percent has it increased? Okay, so you have 105. If you divide that by 100, then we get, so this is the new value divided by the old value. So this is 1.05. And this is, we can write as 105/100ths. Of course, we could see that directly also from there. So this is 105%. So comparing to the original value, the new value is 105% of the old one. So the increase is in 5%. So that's an example how, for example, to calculate interest in the bank. So let's take another example. Let's say that you buy a used car. You buy a used car for $1,000. And assume that the value decreases by 10% per year. So it decreases by 10% per year. Or we don't have to keep track perhaps of negatives here. So 10% per year. So how much is the car value after 2 years? Yeah, after 1 year, the value has decreased by 10%. 10% of 1,000. What's that? That's 1,000 times a tenth. So just 100. So the value has decreased by 100. So the new value is 1,000 minus 100. So 900. And of course we could have gotten this more quickly by taking $1,000 and multiplying by 90%. That will give us the new value. Because if the value has decreased by 10%, the new value is 90% of the old one. So this is times 0.09. So this is 900. So that's after 1 year. After 2 years. So after 1 year is valued 900. The second year it decreases again by 10%. So if you take 90% of 900, we will get the value after 2 years. So this is 9 times 9, that's 81. And then we have to calculate in memory rule how many zeros. We have 2 zeros, but then we have to move 1 step to the left, the decimal sign. So we have to add 1 zero. So $810 after 2 years. So let's take another example. Let's say we have some thing you buy at the store. And the price of the thing is $10. But that's including VAT, value added tax. Let's say the value added tax is 25%. Okay, so let's say what is the value of this thing without the value added tax added to it. So let's denote that by X. So this is the price excluding value added tax. Okay, so if you take 25% of that, or if you take 1.25%, because then we get the value X plus the value added tax, then that should correspond to $10. So the whole value plus the 25% value added tax should equal $10. Then we can figure out what is X, and that's just 10 divided by 1.25. And what's that? That's 1,000 divided by 125. And that's just 8. Since 8 times 125 is 1,000. So the value of the thing without value added tax is $8. Because 25% of 8, that's 1/4 of 8, that's 2. 8 plus 2, that's 10. Okay, then let's just take an example of permille, but it's nothing new compared permille and percent. It's just in principle the same thing. You just have to keep in mind that the permille means 1,000, then 1,000 permille means 1. So let's take an example. For example, in Sweden, it's legal to drive car to have amount of alcohol in your blood is 0.2 per mil. And the human being have roughly 5 liters of blood in their body. Okay, so what is the maximum volume of alcohol you can have in your blood if you want to stay legal? So we stay just at the limit. Then we of course have to take 0.2 per mil times 5 liters. So this is 0.2 thousandths times 5 liters. And here we can just do fractional multiplication. 5 times 0.2, that's 1. And 1000, that's just 1 milli. And so this is a milliliter. So you can have 1 milliliter of alcohol in your blood to drive legally in Sweden.